Hello viewers, Super GT here. Thank you for joining me for another video. Thank you. Hoping all is well in the world. Okay, another video, another fine race for you on Gran Turismo Sport. Now this one. Okay, qualifier, Interlagos manufacturers. I've chosen BMW. So we go out for qualifying, fuel burning, destroying the planet. Yeah, we love fuel burning. We love melting the ice caps. Okay. Now, qualifying is always a bit funky these days because of the slipstream, so I thought I'd bait these guys in and pull a nice little trick on all of them. So I'm going to go at the front of the pack here and pretend that I'm going to give everyone a nice big slipstream. You can see on the track map, bottom right, I've got a nice big train of about 8 cars behind me. And just before we get round to the end of the lap, I'm just going to casually, just going to stop right here and cause absolute mayhem where no one actually wants to go at the front. And eventually, everyone goes. Okay, there we go then. So, pulled my little joker card out of the pack there. Made them think I was going, but I'm not. Now I'm going to get the slipstream instead. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so we're in a much better position for this qualifying lap. Our first race as BMW, so it's a new season. Well, this is the third round of the new season. I didn't do the first 2 rounds, but eventually we get around to it. Group 3 Interlagos in the BMW, and we're going to see exactly how well this car performs. The BMW actually won the most recent World Tour event in Sydney, so it must be somewhat okay, I'd imagine. But let's see exactly how good it is as we come into the infield section then. Cutting the grass, nice little lawnmower move there through the right-hander, but that is the line. Two on the curb, 2 on the grass. As we then come up to the infamous right-hander, Alex Albon's least favourite corner in the world. And this is actually not too bad a lap, but if you just look at Cobra M5 there, just up ahead in the Hyundai, just gets a little bit wide on the curb, almost sends him into a spin. He recovers it just about, and we exit Jinsao. I'll one day get my pronunciation dead right. And enter onto the main straight. This is it then. Not many laps after. Well, we could do one more lap, but the tyre wear's so bad that you're going to get your best lap on this lap. And it's going to be a 30.196. And what the hell has happened? We're actually on pole position. And you see just how close it is. Between myself and second, 0.004, but P1 Sebastian, get in there Lewis, you name it. Actually, look at that, 0.001 to the guy in second, and 0.05 between myself and 6th place. That's how close it was. Get in there Lewis springs to mind. But anyway, as this is an FIA race, it is about time that we unleash the new FIA intro. So no one told you the race was gonna go this way. Okay, brilliant. Brilliant intro. Loving it. Love a bit of that. Hopefully we don't go down that route today of excessive penalties. Just remember where you were when Super GT polled it for his debut race in BMW. And please do tell your grandchildren about it, because this moment is going to go down in history. Righty then, 18 laps of Interlagos. Now this one's really interesting because we have to use all 3 compounds: small, medium, large, soft, medium, and hard. Okay, we're going to start on the medium, and well, basically my strategy for this race was to go not too aggressive at the start, but get aggressive at the end. So I'm going to go medium, hard, then soft. So I have the best tyre at the end of the race, because just being at the front, maybe it's probably the better idea to go to the soft, I don't know, but I felt like I would just hold everyone up at the front on the slower tyre and then unleash my pace at the end. We'll see if that's the correct thing to do or not. Didn't fancy towing people around for 8 laps, but this opening lap, as always, very crucial just to get into the race, settle down, don't get nerfed wide or anything like that. And of course, see how this BMW performs. I would say that the pole lap there, I mean, it wasn't a brilliant lap. It was alright, but it wasn't sort of outstanding. So I was a little bit surprised to get pole, but you saw how close it was. It was 0.05 from myself to 6th place. It was that close, and 0.001, a thousandth of a second to 2nd place. It was ridiculously close, and that is actually going to be, I suppose, the theme of this race and of the qualifying. Just the fact that everyone is so close, and I must say that these some of these FIA races really do come up with some good combinations. Like this is a good race with the strategy involved. The fact that you have to make 2 pit stops. Okay, so end of lap 1. I'm not going to fight this guy too much because I know that there's going to be people on soft tyres. So if someone comes up to me very quickly, I don't want to lose too much time by fighting them and, you know, just blocking and defending the whole time, because you're just losing time to everyone at the back of the pack. So I didn't mind sitting in behind. This is also a fuel saving race. The fuel is also a factor, so tyres and fuel you have to look after in this one. And I don't know how good this BMW is on fuel. I'm going to find that out over the course of this race, I suppose. So tyres and fuel, all new to me. BMW, I've not really driven this car too much. I did try the first round, admittedly. It was a Group 4 race at Spa, and it went absolutely horrifically. And I therefore couldn't bring you a video because it was just absolutely shocking. It was one of the worst performances of all time. So that didn't happen, because I didn't make a video on it, essentially. Nitch going really wide there. He was complaining about the ABS bug in qualifying, so maybe he's got that ABS bug in the race, I don't know. But having a little bit of difficulty on the brakes into Alex Albon's least favourite corner. Into Juntsao, aka Glock corner. End of lap number 2. So I was thinking of going for about, look how close it is, I was thinking of going for about 7 or 8 laps on these tyres. The hard tyres, you only want to spend about 2 or 3 laps on them. You don't really want to spend too many laps on those because they are a lot slower. And then we can whack on the softs and go for it at the end, go full send at the end of the race. So through turn 1, all looking fairly good so far. Nicely under control. We lost 1 position, but that's okay. We're going to whip it forward a little bit here. About halfway through lap number 3. And I'll just go into the back of the Jaguar there, and it's just going to cost me 2 positions. One tiny mistake, look at that, go down to 4th instantly. That's how close it is in these lobbies. And you know what, I wouldn't have it any other way. I do like it when you've got such a close race that you really do have to be on it, like bang on it. When you make a mistake, you go down a couple of positions because you know the competition is so close. I like that, it's great. Well, I'm not going to say I like making mistakes, but it's good to know that you're in a closely fought battle with the other guys in the race. It's always good. And these races, these FIA races, often throw that exact opportunity up. So it looks like I'm just dropping off a little bit here as the tyres begin to wear out. We are going to skip to the end of lap 4. I do have a slight rear bias on the tyres to protect the front tyres. Coming up towards the first corner then. Now we're going to pan behind it because I'm going to get viciously assaulted out of nowhere. I think this guy sort of just forgot which button it was to brake, and thanks for that I lose maybe, what's that, 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds out of nowhere, and a couple of positions as well. Go down from 4th down to 7th. So just a random assault out of nowhere. It's almost like one of those V2 rockets from World War II. It's like it's got no accuracy. He's just going to hit a random target, and unfortunately, Super GT was the target on this occasion, and he landed a strike on me. Okay, so we got someone going into the pit lane for the first time there, and this was a really strange race because of the fuel saving, because of the tyre saving. It was one of the slowest stints here. You can see just the front. Everyone is so close, but no one's really fighting aggressively for positions. I got the inside there, but I didn't really even want to. It's just so slow. I didn't actually want to go for that move, but the space opened up. I'll be staying 6th place. And I found my natural habitat and my natural comfort position here. but the pace being set is actually pretty slow, and I could keep making parallels with cycling, but it's kind of the same. Sometimes as long as you're in a group, it doesn't actually matter how fast or slow you're going, as long as you're together and you don't lose track of the other players. So a couple more people going to the pit lane. End of lap 6. Looks like they're on soft tyres. It's good to monitor what tyres they're on. Some of them were on mediums, some of them were on softs. So we've probably done a better job than those on the softs, but not as good a job as those on the mediums, as I'm also on the medium. But we're going to continue here for another lap or two. So Lorenzi in the lead. He's pulled out 2 seconds on us, and we're going to tuck into the slipstream here of the Mercedes just up in front, who I'm guessing is also on the mediums. So if I had to guess, I'd say that both the guys in front of me are on the mediums as well, and therefore it's fairly even. So, okay, Mercedes jumps into the left-hand side. He's going to go to the pit lane, and 1 lap later it's going to be my turn. So we're going to go to the left-hand side. We're going to go onto the hard tyres. So Lorenzi was indeed on the mediums, as it says on the left-hand side, and we are going to come in first. Bit of employment here for the BMW boys. Thank you very much. And just by coincidence, I've got the number 6 on my car. I just cannot escape the curse, can I? Just nothing I can do about it. Okay, so this is the guy we were fighting, and he may have lost time there because it's going to be quite close between the pair of us on the exit of the pit lane as we come down the Rita Aposta, and he is just going to get ahead. Look at that. He tucked back into what is now 9th place, and I just stay ahead of the Citroen behind, which is getting very close. Okay, so now 3 laps on the hard tyre. This is going to be the worst stint of the lot. It's the least grippy tyre. We have to make the most of this. So we're going to see exactly what tyres other people are on. I'm just hoping in a way that these guys are also on the hard. Actually, that'd be a lot easier, because the bad thing about being on a slightly harder tyre than those around you is that you kind of just get bundled to the side, and people aren't really patient, and they will just sort of go for lunges on you, and I'll do the same to them when I'm on the softer tyre. So that is the danger, that I've got maybe some soft tyre runners behind and they're going to go for it, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I think there's a lot of us on hard tyres at the moment, and that's okay, that's good. We can kind of move along as a pack together. So we're coming up against the Jaguar up ahead of Niche, who's at the front of this pack. He qualified 2nd, so it's one of those weird races where you're gonna meet people at some points in the race, and then you won't see them for a while, and then you meet them again as the strategies come together. So it's very interesting to see how the race unfolds. So Niche actually goes into pit lane, so we're not going to have to bother with him. Citroen very close behind. I'm not very close to the Mercedes up front, but I'm just analysing the Mercedes in 5th place there. So Seb, look at that, sliding through the Senna S. He's clearly on very hard tyres, or he's got minimal grip on some softer tyres. And I'm seeing that, I'm thinking, right, alarm bells are ringing. I need to get past this guy as quickly as possible. I'm going to be the one going for the lunge here. Into turn 4, we get the job done up the inside. No time lost, crucial. And now it's the Citroen behind who has to try to force his way past. The beautiful DTM livery there, inspired, of course, by the DTM cars, of which BMW competes. So really liking the livery on this machine. And the BMW, I think, is a really good looking car. Sounds really good as well, especially on the downshifts when you're going into the corners. And at this point here, lap 11, we've resumed our usual 6th place, and almost slightly wide there. That didn't look too bad, but I tell you, that was actually very close to disaster. But now we're going to come into the pit lane. So a couple of soft runners going in, hard tyre runner going in, and we are also on the hard tyres. So we're going to come in for our 2nd of 2 pit stops. So get rid of the hard tyre, the worst tyre, and now we're going to put on the softs. There we go. And we can unleash our pace. A bit of fuel going in. We did have to refuel. Always best to refuel on the last pit stop. And I think because of that extra refueling, we've lost a position to the Citroen and a little bit of ground to the Mercedes, as you can see up ahead. But we can be aggressive now. This is going to be a fairly aggressive final stint. We've got the fuel to rev out each gear. You might have noticed I was quite severely short shifting most gears. We're still going to have to short shift to an extent, but we have to be quite as aggressive on the fuel saving. And we came out in 17th. You might be thinking, my God, you've really let this race go. And it looks like that way. You know, I started on pole position, and here I am in 17th. These two guys are fighting quite aggressively now. There's a big punt into that corner. Watch the Jaguar turn right. He is obviously not happy, and you have to take note of that. I'm surrounded now by two very unhappy, angry, aggressive drivers, so I have to really tread very carefully, because this could end quite badly if I put myself in the wrong position at this point. So we move up into 16th, and as I said, this race, it looks like it was going completely away from me, but such is the nature of these races with the strategy, you can always bring it back, because now I'm on the best tyre with a decent amount of fuel to really rev out each gear and go quite aggressive here. As we try to go around the outside of the Jag, it doesn't quite work. We're going to get the cut back here, we're going to try it through the exit of the Senna S, and we're just going to go into that gap. Look at that, beautifully done. It's going to be a drag race between the BMW and the Jaguar down towards turn number 4. I've got the inside and we have got the position up into 11th. So this is going to be a very topsy-turvy race. It immediately doesn't look quite as bad. I was 17th a lap ago. Now up into 11th, courtesy of some people going into the pit lane. But that is also going to happen from here to the end of the race. There's going to be a few more people who have to pit from here to the end, and there may well be some surprise strategies where people go into the pit lane at the end of lap 17 just to put on the hard tyres for one lap. That is a viable strategy, and we're going to look out for that. Okay, so lap 13, almost done. A couple more people going into the pit lane, so I'm going to gain more positions there. Someone else with a penalty up ahead. So we're going to cross the line to begin the 14th lap. We have the Citroen in tow. Now my main priority here is just to try to catch up with the guys ahead. I don't really want to fight this guy too much. If this Citroen comes past me or tries it, we're not going to defend and go crazy. We're just going to work together to try to catch up with the pack up ahead. You know, we're on the soft tyre, we're on the best tyre, we're on the decent amount of fuel right now. So we might as well work together to try to catch up. So we're in 8th place. Okay, so this is settled down okay now. Obviously, I'm not anywhere near the lead. Well, I'm 10 seconds away from the lead at this point. I don't know what tyre that leader is on. We're going to see how the race unfolds, because it can still change from here to the end. We have 4.5 laps left in the race, and I suppose one of the frustrating things here is the fact that I'm just about not in the slipstream of the car ahead. And I was thinking about this a lot, and you know, how the slipstream affects this game. Because sometimes it's a good thing that you can use slipstream to help you to overtake and keep up with other people, but sometimes it actually doesn't help, because if you're not in the slipstream, then you really do lose out quite a lot of speed, a lot of fuel saving ability. So it does help, but it also doesn't help in many ways as well. So I just wonder if sometimes I think the slipstream is actually a little bit too strong in this game. Well, I don't sometimes think of that, I always think that. Crossing the line, the Citroen goes through. We're going to lift off slightly, let him take the racing line, and we're going to try to work together here, try to catch up. And he cuts the corner there, the Senna S, he just grazes the track limits, gets himself a 1 second penalty. We're going to skip forward a lap now and see him serve that penalty. I was stuck with him near enough. He's going to move to the left, serve that penalty, lose crucial momentum, and we go back up into 8th. Okay, so 8th place, still fairly close to the guys up ahead. We've got this Supra now who's falling backwards in the pack, and I'm going to look to try to get the move done on this guy. It's going to get very difficult through this section. This is not the easiest place to overtake people. Let's see if it can materialise. Not here, nowhere near close enough to go for that. This left-hander, not really a place to overtake. A little bit eager on the power here, you see that going nicely sideways. This corner, good overtaking opportunity, not quite close enough because I was drifting wide out of the corner before. And then down the long sweeping left, which sets us up into the final corner of the lap. And we're going to have to wait for the straight here. The Supra is a good car in a straight line, so it might be tricky to overtake, but actually I think the BMW is actually not too bad in a line. I can rev out the car a little bit more as well to use that extra fuel that I have to go for these moves. So coming up the main straight there. Not many laps left to go, only 2 more laps in fact. Is he going to defend it? He kind of does, not really. Covers basically the middle ground. I'm still going to go up the inside, and we're going to get 7th. We're We're only 7 seconds away from the lead at this point, so we are slowly gaining on the leader. But it remains to be seen what strategies these guys up ahead have got. We are now 3.3 seconds away, and it's frustrating because I can see them just around the corner, but I'm just not quite close enough. And you think there's just those couple of little moments that could have gone differently in the race, namely that wipeout on turn 1, which cost me a couple of seconds, a couple of positions, and if that hadn't have happened, then you never know what might have happened in this race. As long as I could have just got onto the slipstream train up ahead, then it might have been very different. But that is racing. Bad things happen, and you have to deal with it. Actually, just scanning ahead, actually they're fighting quite intently. That is my main chance here. If these guys start fighting, get a penalty, one of them gets wiped out, something along those lines, and then I can get another position, because they are very, very close. Look at that. It's so agonisingly close, but I'm just not quite there. As we come out of the final corner, onto the last lap, I've got a bit of a gap to the guys behind. That's good news. The soft tyres are beginning to wear out, and in fact, look at this. 2 guys go into the pit lane here on the last lap from medium tyres. I'm guessing they're going to go onto the hard tyre now. As we come into turn 1, we're going to gain 2 positions out of that. We go up into 5th, and of course it's not quite a win. Maybe I didn't have the pace of the win, but it's not too bad a recovery given that we were 17th at one point here. So round onto the Rita Apostle for the final time, and we're going to take a quick look back. And yeah, the guy behind comes out on hard tyres. Yes, it is the hard tyre, but it is a fresh set of tyres, and that could be crucial. He's only 1.7 seconds behind, so I need to make sure that this final lap is a good one, and I won't lose positions, hopefully. And also maybe hope that the guys ahead start battering each other to 1,000 pieces. But overall, this race seems to have settled down. The early stint was actually fairly messy. But as the race sort of went further in and got more spread out, then people seemed to calm down. We're going to have a look at these guys up ahead. This is the battle for second. So this is happening just about 2 or 3 seconds up the road from me. And Lorenzi moves up a position to 3rd, past the Mercedes, who slid wide. And he's now going to try to attack the Jaguar. This is the run to the line then. This is the very end of the race. Can he get the job done in the Lexus up against the Jaguar, with the Mercedes just behind? And Callum Jones going fully defensive on this final lap. He's done well to get into this position. And he's just going to run out of fuel here, with Lorenzi directly behind. The Mercedes just comes through on the last possible moment to nab 3rd place away. I come through across the line in 5th, just a few seconds later. And you can see how close the pack was behind me. It was pretty much a constant train of cars. So myself from 5th to 14th was only about 6 seconds difference, and ultimately we come back to finish in 5th place in our first race for BMW. So it was actually a pretty decent race. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't one where I could quite fight at the front, but then again some moments went against me. But that is the true nature of motorsport. But that's the end of this one. A pretty entertaining race here at Interlagos. I do hope you enjoyed it as always. Do let me know your thoughts as always. Once again, just a massive thank you for all my subscribers, all my supporters on the channel, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. Just thank you so much for being part of it. And as always, a pleasure to make this video for you. So thank you so much. Have a nice day, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.